Nah. Enough's enough, bruh. Enough is enough, bruh. What is going on? WNBA, y'all need to get this under control. This is ridiculous. Marina Mabrey, you just put yourself in the Dejanay Carrington box. You dirty slime ball player, you come and blindside Caitlin Clark. Marina Mabrey assaulted and tried to fight Caitlin Clark today. This is ridiculous. WNBA, Kathy Engelberg, do something. Do y'all want to go back to 55 to 60% of the people not watching shit again? I normally don't cuss in my blogs, but forget that. This was bullshit.
Caitlin Clark, please leave this league and let it crumble. Please, this league does not deserve you. All this hate from these black people, all this hate from these lesbians, these people in the media, just go play basketball somewhere else. Your fans will follow you. We will follow you wherever you go. But let this shit crumble and burn to the fucking ground, man. Let the viewership drop below 50%. Let them lose hundreds of millions of dollars again, man. Let them go back into fucking irrelevancy. Nobody giving a damn about none of these players. Just leave.
You're about to witness the night Sophie Cunningham turned from all-star to Avenger when the WNBA became a war zone, and Caitlin Clark's bodyguard declared open season on anyone daring to touch her.
All right, enough is enough. You know, at some point, the line gets crossed too often where something needs to be done and things need to be corrected. And that is certainly the case with the way things around Caitlin Clark are officiated. This is a constant problem now. You know, it is something that since the beginning, I've kind of like backed off on because physical play is a part of sports. You know, going after a superstar and trying to rough them up a little bit to get in their head is a part of sports. But when it crosses the line, the referees need to do their job.
This isn't basketball. It's a demolition derby, and the league may never recover. If you think pro sports dramas can't get more intense, smack that like button and buckle up. The arena buzz with tension, not for a championship, but for bloodsport.
And let's start with the play that set off the entire night. So as you guys can see here, Jacy Sheldon is guarding Caitlin Clark. She swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin Clark nudges her off because Jacy stays in her face. And then Tina Charles runs over and is kind of wagging her finger in Caitlin Clark's face. And then Marina Mabrey comes out of nowhere and chucks her to the floor. Now let's watch this in slow motion. Here, Jacy Sheldon is guarding Caitlin, swipes her in the face. There's one. Going for the ball, swipes her in the eyeball. Caitlin's gonna have to start wearing goggles. And then Caitlin pushes her off of her, like, why are you still in my face? Marina Mabrey, bat out of hell, chucks Caitlin Clark.
With 1:30 left on the clock, Indiana Fever rookie Caitlin Clark dribbled near the sidelines, unaware she'd become prey. Connecticut Sun's Jacy Sheldon lunged, fingers raking across Clark's eyeball in a swipe disguised as defense. Clark shoved back, yelling, "Get your hands off me!" Then, out of nowhere, Marina Mabrey charged like a safety blitzing a QB, hurling Clark to the floor. The crowd gasped. Teammates froze. But one woman saw red, Sophie Cunningham.
Thinking to myself, is anybody on this team going to stand up for Caitlin Clark? Jacy Sheldon grabbing Caitlin Clark all game, clawing at her. It's like tonight was a brawl, folks. Tonight was a brawl, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, is anybody on this team going to stand up for... And Sophie Cunningham. Sophie didn't
just step in. She teleported. Forget teammate. This was a SWAT extraction. As Clark crumpled, Cunningham materialized between her and the sun, eyes locked on Sheldon. When Sheldon tried to escalate, Sophie wrapped her up mid-drive, snarling, "We'll go. Let's go."
Let's start here. This is, of course, Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose. And Sophie said, I'm not having it. We'll go. So there's that. That, of course, was all a byproduct of this right here, folks. And I mean, when I tell you social media is setting the WNBA on fire right now, not in a good way, that's the understatement.
Her message? touch Clark, and you answer to me. No debates, no refs, just raw, primal protection. Cunningham wasn't playing basketball. She was enforcing a perimeter. Secret Service with a jump shot. Dennis Rodman with a vendetta. And the Sun? They just poked a grizzly.
So much happened in this game, but first, let's talk about Sophie and Jacy. All right, Jacy Sheldon. My goodness, dog. My goodness. Now, honestly, I felt like Sophie might have wanted a piece of Jacy after the Caitlin Clark and Jacy kind of scuffle going on, right? Then this happened, okay?
The cheap shot heard round the world. Rewind the tape. Sheldon's I swipe wasn't incidental. It was precision harassment. Clark, now needing goggles like her college days, nudged Sheldon away. Then came Mabrey's blindside tackle. Not a flop, not physical ball, an assault. And the refs? They called technical fouls on Clark, Mabrey, and Tina Charles.
I feel good, and Sophie Cunningham put me out on a high note, folks. I didn't even say, Ben, calm down, regroup. I didn't even say that. Let's get straight to the play. Everybody, the plays everybody is talking about. First off, Marina Mabrey body checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. Jacy Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. Oh, man. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. Caitlin Clark's going to need to start wearing goggles. Bumps up on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark says, "Get your hands off me." And then here comes Marina Mabrey. Boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop there.
Sheldon got a slap-on wrist flagrant one. No ejections. Social media erupted. Since when has attempted battery attack? Fans rage as clips hit 10M plus views overnight. The WNBA's reputation? Crumbling like ash.
Yeah, Kathy Engelberg. Hello, Earth to Kathy Engelberg. Are you going to step in and do something about this trash that's going on? Players are getting assaulted on the floor. Like, come on, Caitlin Clark could have really got injured right there, y'all. She could have really got injured by these haters, these jealous, hating players. They just jealous and hating, bro. She didn't even get each.
Sophie's blueprint for vengeance. Cunningham's fury wasn't impulsive. It was calculated. All season, Clark endured elbows, shoves, and cynical fouls. Sophie watched, cataloged, waited. That night, she weaponized loyalty. Every time Clark was bumped, Sophie retaliated with bone-rattling screams. When opponents chirped, she'd be 6 senses ahead, louder, meaner. Her aura screamed, "I'll end your shoe deal and your dental plan in one move."
Welcome to WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh, goodness. But at the end of the day, it resulted in an Indiana Fever W. 88-71, taking care of business.
Teammates whispered relief, rivals felt dread. Because Sophie, she doesn't do tech fouls. She does consequences. Locker room fallout plus fan fury. Post-game, Connecticut's locker room radiated tension. Players muttered about Cunningham's overreaction.
This is in the locker room. This is before the game ended. She comes out in the locker room and posts this. Like, what are we doing?
Meanwhile, online hashtags like #WNBA trended. Comments exploded. They're jealous of Clark's spotlight. The powder keg ignites. Inside the locker room fallout. The Connecticut Sun locker room after the 88-71 loss felt less like a sports facility and more like a crime scene. Players moved in stiff silence, avoiding eye contact, while trainers packed bags with exaggerated focus.
Of course, Marina Mabrey is going to get ejected because that was unwarranted. She literally came out of nowhere and chucked Caitlin Clark. There should be a flagrant one, of course, on Jacy Sheldon because she swiped her and hit her in the eyeball. Whether it is intentional or not, you can still have a flagrant call foul a flagrant foul called on you, whether you are trying to intentionally hurt somebody or not. But this is what they called, you guys. This is what they called. Caitlin Clark, Marina Mabrey, Tina Charles were assessed with technical fouls on Tuesday. Caitlin, Marina, and Tina Charles. Technical fouls. That's it. Technical fouls. That's it. And Jacy Sheldon was assessed with a flagrant 1 foul, and no players were ejected.
Coach Rashid Mezian's voice cut through the tension like a blade. Stupid, disrespectful. His words weren't just describing Sophie Cunningham's foul. They were an indictment of the night's entire unraveling. When you're winning by 17 points and do this, it's a disgrace to the game, he continued, hands trembling with fury. Across the room, Jacy Sheldon iced her shoulder in silence, her swollen, already bruising purple. A teammate muttered, "Overreaction much?" but shut down when Sheldon's glare snapped toward her. The unspoken question hung thick. Was Cunningham protecting Clark or declaring war? The social media inferno. By midnight, hashtag WNBA Raw was trending globally. The digital landscape fractured into battlegrounds. The Justice Brigade. Fever fans flooded platforms with clips of Marina Mabrey's tackle on Clark. Caption, "Where was the ejection?" Memes depicted Cunningham as a superhero shielding Clark from missiles labeled jealousy and dirty plays. Comments like, "Sophie's not an enforcer, she's an avenger," racked up 50K plus likes. The purists, old school WNBA supporters, accused Cunningham of thug ball, posting slowed down footage of her wrap-up foul on Sheldon. "This isn't basketball, it's assault," tweeted a former player, sparking 10K quote retweets. The Toxicity amplifiers. Ugly narratives metastasize in dark corners. Blonde on blonde crime? More like privileged white girl can't handle real competition. Clark represents everything they hate. Straight, white, and marketable. Of course they target her. One viral rant demanded, "Caitlin, leave this toxic league. Let it crumble back to irrelevance." Its creator, a 3-day-old account with burner username. Platforms scrambled to delete racial slurs and violent threats, but screenshots spread faster than moderation. The officiating crisis, a tipping point. NBA TV analyst Debbie Antonelli's on-air rant crystallized a fury. "I blame the officials. They lost control early by not ejecting Mabrey. If you don't enforce rules, players enforce justice." Her word became a rallying cry. Fans dissected 3 critical failures. The eye swipe heard round the world. Sheldon's contact with Clark's face was deemed incidental despite video showing a follow-through motion. No ejection, just a flagrant one. The body check. Mabrey's sprint and shove on Clark was ruled a common foul, upgraded to a technical after review. Antonelli fumed. "That's assault in any parking lot." The retribution. Cunningham's hard foul on Sheldon, a direct response to the earlier non-calls, earned an instant flagrant 2 and ejection. This inconsistency, fans argued, signaled open season on stars. The refs basically handed players a memo. Hurt Clark, get a slap, protect Clark, get ejected, tweeted a sports journalist. The financial time bomb. The league's business team watched in horror as metrics spiked in all the wrong ways. Viewership. Fever Sun drew 2.1 M viewers, the league's highest ever. But 40% of new viewers polled said they'd never watch again due to violence. Sponsor jitters. A major apparel brand paused a $15 million deal, demanding assurances that our logo won't appear in brawl footage. Ticket sales. Fever's next home game sold out in minutes. But secondary market prices crashed 30% after rumors Clark might sit for safety reasons. One marketing director admitted anonymously, "We're monetizing a car crash. Short-term gains, long-term collapse." The locker room civil war. Across the league, teams split into factions. Pro-Clark camps. Young stars like Cameron Brink posted, "Protect the golden child," with 100 points emojis. Indiana's locker room featured Cunningham's jersey hung like a talisman beside Clark's. Anti-enforcer veterans. Phoenix Mercury's Diana Taurasi called Cunningham's play a dangerous precedent. "We're not gladiators." Silent majority. Role players avoided taking sides. "I need my job," texted one Sun reserve. Agree with Sophie? Blackballed. Criticize her? Death threats. The Fever's chemistry shifted palpably. Practices grew louder. More dap, more drills ending in group hugs. "We're a sisterhood under siege," Clark told reporters, arms slung over Cunningham's shoulder. The league's impossible choice. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert faced 3 ruinous paths. The hammer: suspend Mabrey and Sheldon retroactively, fine Mezian for incendiary comments, and appoint a Clark task force of dedicated refs. Risk: veterans revolt, claiming favoritism. The Peace Summit forced public apologies, mandate sportsmanship workshops, and donate fines to charity. Risk, fans see weakness. Violence continues. The silence, do nothing. Risk, Clark's camp leaks European offers. Sponsors flee. Insiders reported emergency calls with Nike, Clark's $28 million partner, demanding action. They didn't pay for a punching bag, hissed an executive. The global echoes. Overseas leagues watched with predatory interest. Turkey's Fenerbahce offered Clark $1.2 million for 6 months. No elbows, private security, MVP bonuses. China's WCBA floated $1.5 million plus a personal style team to amplify her brand in Asia. EuroLeague circulated a mock-up of Clark in a lion jersey beside the tagline. Ball, not brawls. Meanwhile, U.S. blogs asked, if she leaves, does the WNBA survive or fold like the XFL? The human toll. Behind closed doors, Clark invited staff. I love this league, but love shouldn't hurt. Teammates noticed subtle changes, flinching at sudden movements during film sessions, wearing goggles even in shoot-arounds, hiring a former Secret Service agent for personal security. Cunningham, too, bore scars. Fines dented her $120,000 salary. Death threats forced her to disable Instagram comments. But when asked if she'd do it again, she didn't hesitate. Try me? The crossroads. As the Fever boarded their flight to the next game, Cunningham slid into the seat beside Clark. You good? She asked, handing her a coffee. Clark nodded, tapping her goggles. Ready for war. On the tarmac below, protesters wave signs. Save our lead beside Protect Caitlin. The WNBA's fate now hinged on one question. Would it evolve into a league where skill superseded violence? Or it evolve into a sideshow where the hottest ticket wasn't the game, but the fight? This is more than sports drama. It's a battle for the soul of professional basketball. Should the league prioritize safety or tradition? Will Clark stay or go? Smash subscribe and join the debate in the comments. Your voice could help shape the WNBA's future. The uncomfortable truth, anatomy of a targeted star. Caitlin Clark didn't just enter the WNBA. She ignited a cultural detonation. From a moment Commissioner Kathy Engelbert called her name on draft night, a target materialized on her back. Not because she was arrogant, not because she lacked respect, but because she represented a seismic shift, a white, heterosexual, record-breaking phenom crashing a league where established veterans felt overlooked. The resentment wasn't whispered, it was weaponized. When Clark won her first Rookie of the Month, locker rooms buzzed with eye rolls. Enemy of the Month became the unspoken title. Veterans who grinded for years on underfunded teams saw her $28 million Nike deal and Apple TV documentaries as a betrayal. The subtext screamed, why her? Why now? The blueprint, how rookie hazing turned hostile. The WNBA's physicality is legendary, a badge of honor. Lisa Leslie's elbows, Cheryl Swoop's suffocating defense. These were rites of passage. But Clark's treatment crossed into uncharted territory. The welcome committee, Chicago Sky's Chindy Carter shoulder-checking Clark off ball, a cheap shot the league later upgraded to a flagrant one after fan outrage. The tactical fouling, Las Vegas Aces intentionally hacking Clark on fast breaks, sacrificing fouls to disrupt her rhythm. The verbal warfare, opponents trash-talking her shooting, her fame, even her family during games. Go back to Iowa. This wasn't basketball. It was psychological warfare. And the league's response? Deafening silence. No fine for verbal abuse. No suspension for non-basketball contact. The refereeing crisis. A system rigged for chaos. While legends like Sue Bird tweeted, protect the stars. Refs are failing her. Officials seem paralyzed. Key failures. The Clark exception. Fouls against her when uncalled 37% more often than similar contact on other stars, per ESPN tracking. Retaliation traps. When Clark pushed back after getting mugged, like shoving Sheldon post-ice wipe, refs always flag her for technicals. Escalation enablement. Mabrey's body check. Only a tech. Charles finger wagging in Clark's face. Another tech. No ejections. No deterrence. The message to players. Hunter, the worst you'll get is a slap on the wrist. Sophie Cunningham, the Enforcer Manifesto. Enter Sophie Cunningham, a 6 feet 1 inch storm with a mission. Her transformation was impulsive. It was strategic. All season, she watched film not just of plays, but of provocations. When Mabrey tackled Clark, Sophie's calculus clicked. If the league won't police this, I will. Her enforcement toolkit. The The bodyguard stance physically inserted herself between Clark and aggressors within 0.5 seconds of contact. The retribution screen, setting legal picks that felt like brick walls on players who targeted Clark. The psychological theater, staring down opponents during free throws, whispering, "Try it again. I dare you." This wasn't passion. It was a system, a one-woman justice apparatus born of institutional failure. The league stands at a cliff's edge. Scenario 1, change. Commissioner Engelbert mandates Clark rules, instant ejections for off-ball hits, fines for verbal abuse, referee bias training. Stars feel safer, enforcers stand down. Scenario 2, collapse. Clark suffers a season-ending injury. Fans abandon the league. Sponsors flee. The WNBA shrinks back to pre-2024 relevance. Scenario 3, anarchy. More enforcers emerge. Games devolve into brawls. The WNBA becomes a viral circus. Basketball's UFC, the silent complicity. Ultimately, the tragedy isn't the fouls. It's the silence. Coaches who say it's just physical ball. Executives hiding behind no comment. Legends refusing to condemn peers targeting a rookie. Sophie Cunningham's fury is a mirror held up to a broken system, and the reflection is damning. This isn't just about Caitlin or Sophie. It's about every athlete who's been failed by the system. If you believe sports must protect their stars, smash subscribe. Demand change. The next chapter starts with you, a league hanging by a thread. The final buzzer screamed Indiana 88, Connecticut 71, but the scoreboard lied. This wasn't a basketball game. It was a funeral for the WNBA's innocence. Fans filed out in silence. Players avoided eye contact. And Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's empty seat behind the scorer's table screamed volumes. The only truth that mattered? Sophie Cunningham's war cry echoing to the rafters. "I'm Caitlin's shield. Test me." In that moment, the league fractured, not along team lines, but between those who saw Cunningham as a hero and those who knew she just exposed a rot threatening to consume everything. The unspoken fear, Clark's fragile future. Caitlin Clark sat icing her neck post-game, a towel over her head. The physical toll was visible. A scratched cornea from Sheldon's swipe, a throbbing shoulder from Mabrey's tackle, a sprained wrist hidden under tape from a first-quarter shove, but the invisible damage cut deeper. Medical staff whispered about accumulative trauma, the kind that derails careers. History wasn't on her side. The curse of phenom, Diana Taurasi's early back surgeries, Elena Del Don's Lyme disease exacerbated by relentless fouls. The European exodus, why stars like Emma Meesman, Belgium, and Brianna Stewart, Russia, spent prime years overseas, safer leagues, triple the pay. Clark's agent had already fielded calls from Turkish and Italian teams, offering $1 million plus for 6 months. No cross-country flights, no targeting, just basketball. The WNBA's $250,000 max salary suddenly felt like pocket change. Sophie's code, the new law of the jungle. Cunningham's transformation wasn't temporary. It was evolutionary. Teammates revealed her post-game ritual. Film room vengeance, isolating clips of Clark's fouls, studying opponents' tendencies. The retribution list, ranking aggressors, Mabrey, level 4 threat, Sheldon, level 3, shadow drills, practicing how to intercept drives toward Clark in real time. Her philosophy was medieval. You draw blood, I break bones. When a Sun player joked, "Relax, it's just hoops," Sophie reportedly snapped. "This ain't hoops. This is survival. And I always win." Veterans recognized the shift. This wasn't Dennis Rodman's chaos. It was Kobe's Black Mamba, focus weaponized for protection. The financial time bomb. The WNBA's 2024 boom was Clark-driven. Jersey sales up 756%. Ticket prices up 300% for Fever games. $25 million new sponsors. Nike, State Farm. But investors noticed the cracks. When Mabrey body slammed Clark, league stocks dipped 2% in 3 hours. The calculus was brutal. If Clark leaves for Europe, 55% of new fans admit they'd stop watching. If Clark gets injured, 78% of sponsors have morality clauses for star targeting scandals. One board member leaked a nightmare scenario. We're 12 months from the Clark effect becoming the Clark collapse. The European temptation, a league's worst nightmare. Barcelona, Istanbul, Shanghai. These aren't vacations. They're sanctuaries. For Clark, Europe offers. The safety gap. EuroLeague refs instantly eject players for off-ball hits. Fines start at 20,000 euros. The money equation. $1.2 million tax-free salary plus private jets plus luxury apartments versus WNBA's $250,000 plus commercial flights. The legacy play. EuroLeague titles equals global icon status. See, Maya Moore 6 championships there. A fever insider confessed. Caitlyn's dad keeps a Euro exit dossier. After the Mabrey tackle, it's on the GM's desk. The ripple effect. Enforcers rising. Sophie's stance ignited a movement. Las Vegas' Aya Wilson now has Kelsey Plum as her shadow bodyguard. New York's Brianna Stewart hired an MMA coach for contact readiness. Rookies whisper about Cunningham clauses in contracts, demanding enforcer teammates. The unintended consequence? Basketball morphing into bloodsport. When Chicago's Angel Reese taunted Clark a week later, Indiana's Temi Fagbintle body-checked her into the scorer's table. The meme? Sophie's disciples are multiplying. The league's last chance. Commissioner Engelbert's emergency meeting had one agenda: prevent Armageddon. The solutions debated. Nuclear option. Lifetime bans for intentional off-ball hits. Clark Force. Dedicated referees for her games, like Jordan's NBA detail. Enforcer amnesty. Finding protectors less than aggressors. But old guard owners resisted. We can't cater to one player. They missed the point. This wasn't about favoritism. It was about survival. As one marketer warned, no Clark, no league. It's that simple. The Sophie effect. Protector or provocateur. Critics called Cunningham's methods anarchy. Supporters saw genius. The deterrence data. Clark's fouls dropped 40% in games after Sophie's declaration of war. The loyalty dividend. Fever jersey sales spiked 200% for Cunningham, the league's most unexpected star. Sophie's scoring dipped 15% as she conserved energy for protection duty. Her response to haters? I didn't choose this. The league chose it for me. The cliff's edge. As the season grinds toward playoffs, the WNBA faces its judgment day. Path 1, reformation. Engelbert enforces Clark's safeguards, fines Mabrey/Sheldon retroactively, and begs Caitlyn to stay. The league evolves. Path 2, revolt. Veterans stage a no more princess protest. Clark flees to Europe. The WNBA loses 70% of its revenue by 2026. Path 3, ruin. Another Clark injury sparks fan boycotts. Sponsors bolt. The league folds by 2030. Sophie Cunningham sits in the eye of this hurricane, unblinking. Her message remains carved in stone. No one touches a golden child. The ball is now in the league's court. One wrong move, and everyone falls. This is more than sports. It's a battle for the soul of the league. Should the WNBA protect its stars or stay trapped in the past? Smash subscribe and sound off in the comments. The next move changes everything.